Does this look familiar to you all? It should. It's already been on a workbench once. This is part of a trifecta that I did. I did this one. I did one of mine that I'd rebuilt. What was a recase of a Fat Boy, and I did another one. This is part of a three-peat. If you're really interested in everything I had to do in here, which was replace a couple fans, do some power wire upgrades, do a pass-through tune on it, and a couple other little small things to it. Very small. The link will be in the description below, down there someplace, to the actual 3 amps that I fixed. This is a straight-up AssKicker, made by Stickman. This is in an ICA cabinet, and I think we did a air channel. We modified the back of the cabinet so all the air would go through the amp. We did the power wire upgrades on it, like I said, fixed the fans on it, pass-through tune, just basically polished it a little. Well, come to find out, the gentleman wanted me to sell one of those other boxes, which we did, and then the next day after I sold that box for him, he said he wanted to go ahead and he wanted to sell this as well. This guy. This is a straight 6-pill with Toshibas in it. Now on the front here, you'll see that it's got your standard on-off switch, it's got a receive amp, and it's got sideband. All of this stuff works. Imagine that. Turn it on, preamp works. Now sideband. Let's talk about this for a minute. The SSB switch is a relay delay. That's it. There's no bias inside this box for sideband. It is strictly an AM only amplifier. This is fired up, go kick ass on it. Put a couple hundred watts, like 200 watts of drive in it, and it's going to produce the poop. Okay? And like I said, the inside of this thing, I'm not going to bother to open it up in this video. If you're really interested about what's going on the inside and what it looks like on the inside, please feel free to go ahead and click on the link below in the description and go watch that video. So let's take a minute, let's go ahead and we'll run it. Let's see here. Let's turn on a bench power supply real quick, and let's get our voltage up here. We'll get it up around 15 volts. And while we're waiting for that to come up, we'll go over here and we'll take a quick look. That's a 1,000 watt slug and peak. Another 1,000 watt slug, but it's an average or bird. And then of course, slide over here, 5 watt slug and reverse back from the bird 10,000 watt dummy load. For today's demonstration purposes, even though I did it in the other video, we're going to be using the SR490, the Striker 490. Of course, that's the one that I personally upgraded, and I put a Toshiba transistor in the back of it. So it's a single-ended 1-pill. Hello, audio. Makes about 280 watts or 180 watts worth of power. Okay? So let's go ahead, we'll bring the amp on. Hello. Of course, it's going to lay the needle all the way over into the right-hand corner. So let's go ahead, we'll flip that up to 2x. So now this is reading like a 2,000 watt scale. Hello, audio, 1, 2. Making 1,600 plus watts. And that's with 180 watts worth of drive. Now before we get too far away from here, let me turn the amp off. We'll flip the 5 watt slug so it's reading forward. And that amplifier was grabbing up, look right here, 1/2 watt. So 1/2 watt dead key going in, the relay's fully latching, but it's not making any power. So we'll bring this dead key up a little bit. The 5 watt carrier, we'll shut the amp off. So with 2 watts going in, it's making about a 5 watt carrier. So that's with the 490 turned up all the way. Let's do this. I'm demonstrating that the amplifier one has a good solid relay in it, and it wants to latch up at a low carrier level. Some amplifiers you won't get the relay to latch up unless you put a couple watts in it, like 3 or 4. And I'm showing you that it'll latch up easily latch up at a 1/2 watt. So Let's switch radios now. We're going to go over to the 2950 where I got a little bit more poop I can put in it. We'll go back and we'll look at the meters again. So we'll key up the radio. There's a 1/2 watt. And now we'll put 4 watts in it. So 4 watt dead key works out to be about 50-60 watts worth of carrier. Just showing you that the scale is relative. You put more drive in it, you're going to get more dead key out of it. But this amp is working like a Swiss watch. Wouldn't expect anything else out of Stickman, especially if I got to come along and, you know, kind of critique it just a little bit. Now the customer has stated that he'd like to get $18.50 for this box. I say, okay, since it's not mine to sell, I think that that's a fair number to ask, taking into account, you know, it's got $1,100-1,200 worth of Toshibas in it. Legit, old school Japanese Toshibas. Got 6 of them in here. You all know the market for the Toshiba is crazy. The amount of money that they want for it is nuts. It is the truth. The Toshibas are really expensive. So I don't feel that that's too far of a bad ask to get. $18.50 plus the ride to get it to wherever it needs to go, I don't feel is unfair at all. Last thing that I want to point out is that it's currently wired for 110. Okay? This is 220 capable, as in if you go and you change out the plug, and then you got to change how the switchers are supplied on the inside. You got to flip, there's a switch that's on the top of the switchers. 1, 2, 3. You got to flip them over to 220. This thing will run on 220. But yeah, that's it. First person to call me, first person to text me, gets it. Completely rebuilt, fully functional, ready to rock and roll, brand new fan, AssKicker 6 build, 1600 bass for sale.